Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive showdown in South Korea over a data breach that has a tech giant going head-to-head with a government that's just had enough. And believe me, this is way more than a local story. It's a battle that could change the rules for how companies handle our data all over the world. All right, let's just start with a number, 33.7 million. I mean, just think about that for a second. We're talking about a figure that's more than half the entire population of South Korea. And yeah, that staggering number, that's how many people had their personal info swiped in a single massive breach at the e-commerce titan Coupang. This wasn't just some minor leak. It was so big that the authorities are literally calling it a major social crisis. So you can imagine a breach of this size, along with some other big ones, has really pushed the South Korean government to a breaking point. They're done just asking for better security. Now they're ready to bring down the hammer. And we're hearing this from the very top. The Prime Minister has made it crystal clear he's not happy, calling out companies for their weak responses. The message is simple. The old way of doing things is over. So what's the government's main weapon in this fight? It's something called punitive fines. And the idea here isn't just to make companies pay for the cleanup. No, it's to make the punishment so painful that they have absolutely no choice but to make data security their #1 priority. Okay, so how are they actually going to do this? Well, they've got a 3-part plan. First, these massive fines. And get this, we're talking up to 10% of a company's annual sales, not their profit. That's a huge deal, a potentially company-ending number. Second, they're tightening the rules on telling victims about a breach, so no more hiding or downplaying it. And third, they're beefing up enforcement. If a company tries to stall an investigation, they can get hit with even more fines. They're really not messing around. So you've got all this incredible pressure coming from the government. You'd think the company would just issue an apology and cut a check, right? Well, what Coupang did next just threw a whole new can of worms wide open. In response to all this heat, Coupang came to the table with a compensation plan that at first glance looked absolutely enormous. The headline number is just huge, 1.69 trillion Korean won. That's about 1.18 billion US dollars. I mean, it's an incredible amount of money, supposedly meant to make things right for every single person affected. But okay, let's do the math here. You take that giant number and divide it by all those people, and it works out to about 37 US dollars per person. But honestly, the amount isn't even the most interesting part of the story. The real kicker is how they plan to pay it out. And here it is, the big catch. This isn't cash. That $37 is being offered as vouchers, and those vouchers can only be used on Coupang's own websites and apps. You can probably guess what happened next. That little detail sparked an immediate firestorm. Consumer groups, politicians, you name it, everyone started asking what the company's real motives were. And this really gets to the heart of the whole conflict. You see, from Coupang's perspective, they're offering this huge compensation plan that gives real value to their users. But from the critics' point of view, it just looks like a self-serving scheme that isn't really a solution at all. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The accusation is that Coupang is basically turning the victims of its own mistake into a captive audience. They're forcing people to become their customers just to get the compensation they're owed. It blurs the line between an apology and a really clever, if controversial, marketing campaign. And all of this leads us to the biggest question in this entire mess. A question that goes way beyond just this one company or even South Korea. So the key takeaway here is this fundamental clash. On one side, you have a government demanding real financial pain to force change, kind of like what we've seen with GDPR in Europe. And on the other side, you have a company with a clever solution that actually drives business right back to them. This whole showdown has become the perfect case study for the debate that's happening everywhere. What does real corporate responsibility look like? And that's really the question we're left with, isn't it? When our data is lost, what's the right way to hold a company accountable? Is it a giant fine paid to the government? Is it cash in the hands of the victims? Or could it be something else? This fight in South Korea is forcing all of us to think about what we should really be demanding from the companies that hold our most sensitive information.